Connor Floyd reflects on his character's shocking exit from The Young and the Restless. Exclusive. Floyd played Philip Chance Chancellor until July, when he jumped over to Days of Our Lives to replace Billy Flynn in the role of Chad DiMera. Connor Floyd reflected on his exit from The Young and the Restless in an exclusive interview with People at the recent Days of Our Lives 60th anniversary celebration. The actor played Philip Chance Chancellor in YNR until July, when he jumped over to Days to replace Billy Flynn in the role of Chad DiMera. Floyd also shared how his transition to working on Days has been. Connor Floyd is opening up about his dramatic exit from The Young and the Restless. The 33-year-old actor played Philip Chance Chancellor across more than 275 episodes of the CBS soap opera beginning in 2021. In a moment that shocked fans, Chance was shot and killed during the July 28 episode, ending his time on the show. But there was a big twist behind it all. Floyd had already been hired by Days of Our Lives to replace Billy Flynn in the role of Chad DiMera. In his final YNR scene, Floyd's character died in the arms of his Days predecessor Flynn, who is now playing Kane Ashby. While chatting with People at the recent Days of Our Lives 60th anniversary celebration, Floyd said he thought Chance's death scene was cool. "He went out like a hero. They didn't have a funeral or anything, but that's okay," he said, teasing, "You never know, he could come back. You never know in daytime, you never know. No one's ever dead, right?" he added. Floyd also addressed the fact that some fans were unhappy with his character's demise and how it was handled. "I thought Chance went out the way he'd want to go out. So if they're salty about it, I guess we're doing something right," he said. As for his transition to working on Days, the actor described it as pretty easy. "I got to work with Billy Flynn the last 2 months I was at YNR, and so he kind of gave me the spark notes on how everything works here, and that was very helpful," he told People. "But it was a lot easier than going into YNR because now I know the pace, and so now I know the lay of the land." Reflecting on Days' 60th anniversary, Floyd said it's hard to wrap his head around such a milestone. "You know, somebody yesterday at our meeting at work, they said we're older than the internet, and I couldn't really comprehend that, to tell you the truth," he recalled. "Yeah, what an accomplishment. Not a lot of people can say that." Floyd previously addressed his departure from YNR in a post on Instagram on July 28. "Never miss a story. Sign up for People's free daily newsletter to stay up to date on the best of what People has to offer, from celebrity news to compelling human interest stories." Alongside some behind-the-scenes footage from the show's set, he wrote, "What a ride. I have truly been blessed to call myself a citizen of Genoa City. To share the stage with so many talented and hard-working actors, creatives, and crew members. This is without a doubt a special place." Floyd continued, "I'm grateful to have been a part of such an iconic piece of art that has lasted through the decades and that has such a stellar, die-hard fan base. Thank you for accepting me. Chance will always have a close place in my heart. He's taught me a lot and I'll miss him dearly. It's been an absolute honor to represent the Chancellor legacy." Weekly episodes of Days of Our Lives are available to stream on Peacock, while The Young and the Restless airs weekdays on CBS. When Connor Floyd first walked onto the gleaming, camera-lit soundstage of The Young and the Restless, he had no idea how profoundly the experience would reshape his career, his craft, and even his understanding of storytelling. In our exclusive conversation, held months after the dramatic, gut-punch exit of his character, Chance Chancellor, Floyd finally opens up, fully, candidly, and without the veil of studio secrecy. He arrives at the cafe where we've arranged to meet wearing jeans, a simple white tee, and a baseball cap pulled low. He apologizes for being 3 minutes late, though he's right on time. That mixture of humility and quiet confidence is something he carries throughout our talk. It's the same duality that allowed his version of Chance, haunted yet hopeful, broken yet loyal, to resonate so deeply with viewers who thought they already knew everything worth knowing about the character. As we settle in, he takes a breath, rests his hands around a warm mug, and begins, "I still feel like I'm saying goodbye to him." And just like that, we're inside the heart of the storm. A role that arrived like a whirlwind. For Floyd, joining one of the longest-running and most beloved soap operas on television was like jumping into a river that's already rushing at full speed. He didn't create that river. He didn't direct its flow. But the moment he stepped into it, he had to swim for his life, emotionally, artistically, and sometimes literally, depending on the week's script. I didn't have the usual ramp-up that actors get when they're introduced to a new world, he recalls, smiling. It wasn't, let's get to know Chance slowly. It was more like, action. Here's your uniform, here's your trauma, here's your complicated marriage, here's a storyline that goes from 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. And go. He laughs as he says it, but there's a tenderness there too. He loved it. He thrived in it. Chance had always been a legacy character, carrying the Chancellor name, the Abbott connections, and decades of intertwined relationships. But Floyd's portrayal brought something newer, fresher, and rawer, a more internal version of the man, a version carved by guilt and sacrifice, struggling with identity and expectations. Viewers connected with him almost instantly. I didn't want to pretend the character hadn't lived an entire life before I stepped into the role, he says. But I also wanted to bring something deeply personal. I wanted him to feel like a man who'd been broken in ways he didn't know how to talk about. He pauses. I think that vulnerability is what really bonded me to him. The exit that no one saw coming. Soap operas are no strangers to shock, upheaval, or character turnover. But Chance's exit, abrupt, emotionally loaded, and leaving behind seismic aftershocks, felt different. For some fans, it felt like a narrative rug pull. For others, it felt like the end of a chapter that had already been fraying around the edges. For Floyd, it was both. I had known for a bit that things were shifting, he says carefully, not bitter, not guarded, just honest. But the final decision, the timing, that surprised me. He explains that in soaps, story tends to evolve around chemistry, audience response, long-term arcs, and sometimes pure logistics. Chance's journey had recently pushed him into confrontations with loss, romantic uncertainty, and a career crossroads. His exit came at the height of that tension. But did I expect it to unfold the way it did? Floyd raises his eyebrows. No, I don't think anyone did. The episode in question was a masterclass in intensity, Chance facing an impossible decision, taking responsibility for consequences that weren't entirely his, and ultimately walking away, not in dramatic explosion, not in a fiery crash, but in a quiet, painful dissolution. To me, he says, that was the heartbreaking part. Not the action, not the suspense. The silence. The human part. He admits he cried when he got the final script,